Okay, so we are on. Hi, Adam.
Hello.
So we are sitting here with Rabbi Adam Jacobs from Aish, New York, and we are having our coffee break. We decided to talk about some interesting things, and today we chose the topic of the word gentile. So I think it's such a pejorative word, the way people use it. So tell me more about this word.
The English word or the Hebrew word?
Let's do both, shall we?
Sure. So the word gentile just means people. So for instance, in Spanish, if you want to say people, you say gente, gentile. So there's certainly nothing negative about it. Any word can be used negatively, right? You know, the word Jew to me is not negative, but if you say it in a certain way to somebody, all of a sudden it is.
Right.
Okay, so gentile is a neutral term. I do think it's interesting that sometimes it's used in the world at large in a way that bifurcates the world into Jews and non-Jews.
I kind of feel that, pretty much, so.
Which I don't understand, and if you watch the end of Jesse Jackson's 1988 Democratic National Convention speech.
Sure, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1988.
Okay, I will look that up.
He made a big speech. He was a relatively important figure at that time. And he made a big rousing conclusion to his talk, and he said, whether you're black, white, male, female, Jew, or Gentile. And I thought, and this is a long time ago,
Wow.
I thought, what's interesting, first of all, he's a reverend, so he's
knowledgeable.
He's a Christian minister.
Yeah.
So why would he divide the world into two categories, Jew and everyone else?
But then again, it just doesn't even make sense, no? Because you say Jew or people.
Right.
Like.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If anything, I would think he would say Christian or something else.
Right.
Right. So there is something weird about it. So somehow the word Gentile has come to mean everybody, and somehow Jews are in a different category.
Because you are chosen.
Well, we'd have to talk about what that means.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting phenomenon. Okay. But anyway, its plain meaning of Gentile is just people.
So why do people use it so freely? I mean, I understand it's a hypothetical question, why do people do what they do, but I hear even rabbis say that, or just like your example shows, so people should be aware of the root of the word still, and it is just used so exactly dividingly, but then again it doesn't even make sense, so I don't know. Why?
That's a bit of a mystery to me. But there is another word which is used pejoratively, which you and I have discussed before.
Yes, that's my favorite word.
Right. So it's that same phenomena that any word could be used in a negative way. The truth is that the word goy is a neutral term for nation, and that in the Torah itself, the Jews are described as a goy as well, a nation. There's a concept that we have of striving to be what's called an or lagoyim, a light unto the nations. But unfortunately there are people out there who have made it into a pejorative, and so we say the goyim this or
today there is not even another meaning to that. It's just so upsetting. Like there is really something that is the goy shaming. I think I mentioned to you that there are Facebook groups which is like goy shaming, or the goy knows better, goy knows better, or something like that. So I'm widely shared in those groups because I talk a lot. But really, it's just like horrible how that has absolutely no neutral meaning. It's just negative.
What does goy shaming mean?
basically making fun of what a goy thinks about Jews or Israel, or pretty much like what I call it, like a reverse anti-Semitism. Seriously, because you know me, I never talk about like how you need to break your bread on Shabbat dinner, so like I'm not interfering into your Judaism. So why what I say has anything to do with the fact that I'm a goy? I can have an opinion just because I'm not Jewish. You know, I don't go into the Torah. I'm not trying to interpret that part, but I can have an opinion about Israel or the Jewish people without me being a Jew.
Well, of course.
And yeah, there are very heavy goy shaming activities out there. And the whole thing when you just say, oh, the goy or the goyim, that's already goy shaming, because it's like me saying, oh, you do the Jew. So you would call me anti-Semitic person, but from a Jewish person, we need to accept that you just say, oh, the goyim.
Yes. So, for the record, I think that's wrong.
Okay.
And anti-Jewish, frankly. And I think that there's still a bit of a, let's call it a ghetto mentality that is left over from our experiences in Europe, and there unfortunately are still some folks who think, you know, circle the wagons, we have no friends, you know, and we're alone.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think it's surprising that people, you know, to some, that people like you exist, which I would call philo-Semitic people. But the truth is that there's always been a phenomenon like that. And if you ever want to read a really interesting book, there's an author called George Gilder who wrote a book called The Israel Test.
Okay.
And the premise of the book is that Israel is a touchstone for people in the world at large. And that whatever side they find themselves falling on or gravitating to says something about who they are as people. And he's a non-Jew writing this, but who is also like a big Israel supporter, and struggling with understanding why so many people are not.
Yeah.
And it's a really informative, interesting book. But in terms of the basic definitions of these words, there's nothing negative in it, and so people have chosen to make negativity out of neutrality.
So bad. I mean, so many other words got perverted, you know, like feminism, Zionism, so everything is twisted. But still, so let's sum up. So gentile means people, and goy means nation.
Yep.
So I hope everybody heard that. That's how we need to use that, and perhaps that's the way we can reframe the whole discussion between Jews and non-Jews, that we start using the words appropriately, you know, so that we just use them how they should be used with their meaning on.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
If you guys enjoyed this, then let us know what topic should we discuss next time. Bye.